Good morning and welcome to Digital Health and Care Wales Extraordinary Assurance Committee meeting, called today to see and endorse the audit accounts and annual report, scheduled to be presented to the SHA board for approval tomorrow. Now, you'll recall as committee members that we had a meeting on the 7th of May of this year to receive in detail and to review the draft accounts and annual report prior to today's meeting. And I'd like to extend a special welcome to Mike Whitley and David Tomlin to present the Audit Wales reports and the audit of the financial statements. Now, in the interest of time, it is a short meeting. I suggest that you introduce yourself as necessary when you make a contribution. And may I ask those colleagues who are presenting this morning to do so succinctly, drawing out key points only. Now, as usual, we are holding this meeting virtually via MS Teams. It is being recorded, and the recording will be posted on DHCW's website. And committee meeting papers, as usual, are available for the public to access on our website. So let's turn to apologies. I've not received any, so we'll move on to declarations of interest. Are there any declarations to notify with respect of anything on today's agenda? Not been notified of any? No? In that case, then, we'll move on to section 2 of today's agenda and to the audited accounts and annual report. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Audit and Assurance Committee received the draft accounts at our meeting on the 7th of May, where we reviewed the accounts and updated on the progress being made in the audit undertaken by Audit Wales. Now, that audit has now been completed. The accounts are here today for endorsement to the board at its meeting tomorrow. So I will now turn to Chris Morton, the Interim Director of Finance, to present the annual accounts. Chris, I'll let you bring your finance colleagues in turn, if you will. Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch yn fawr, Marian, and bore da pawb. Thank you for handing over for the agenda item this morning. Just a couple of points of reflection really from me before I hand over to the team to present this. I think this has been a really challenging period for finance with our Director of Finance, Claire Osmondson-Little, had taken a secondment role in Swansea Bay, and I've stepped up into the interim Director of Finance position in March. And we've also had some key absences in the senior team through the period. We've also had to cope with additional workload above and beyond the business as usual, including managing the finances for the Q1 through the DPIF pause and review process, delivering the baseline review, and also completing the grip and control assessment, which will be coming to the audit committee in July. I'm really pleased with how the team have responded to these challenges and stepped up. And I also hope the outcome of this audit provides the Audit and Assurance Committee some assurance with regards to DHCW's financial position as we start to respond to our level 4 escalation status. And I would also like to extend thanks to colleagues across DHCW, as really this is a reflection of their hard work throughout 25-26, as is a whole organisational effort to produce the annual accounts. Thanks to Audit Wales colleagues as well, because this has been a smooth process and they've worked really collaboratively with my team throughout this. Finally, I'd like to say it's great to welcome back Mark Cox, who started back with us full-time in May. And my final thanks in particular and especially goes to Sian Williams, who has stepped into the role of Associate Director of Finance for a period of 6 months from November 25 to cover this, and has again provided a remarkable step up in being able to support us through this challenging period. So with my thanks, I would like to hand over to Sian now just to present the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. I'll just quickly go through the report. As we know, the draft accounts were submitted to Welsh Government on the 1st of May. The main changes to the draft accounts are explained within the Audit Wales Audit of Accounts report. Pleased to say, Audit Wales have issued an unqualified audit opinion on this year's accounts, pending provision of a signed letter of representation, which is in the appendices. The final audited accounts will be submitted to Welsh Government on the 26th of June, ahead of approval by the SHA board tomorrow. So pleased to say DHCW is reported meeting the first and second financial duty within the accounts, presenting a revenue underspend of 0.241 million and a capital underspend of 0.095 million. This has moved from the draft accounts by 41,000 due to a small change in the brought forward indexation figure of an asset. Audit Wales concluded that there were no non-trivial uncorrected misstatements in the accounts, and there were a total of 8 misstatements identified by Audit Wales, which were adjusted for in the final account submission with nil financial impact. And the one with a financial impact I just mentioned. So just to echo what Chris said, that DHW would love to extend their thanks to Audit Wales in conducting a professional and thorough audit as ever.
Thank you, Sian. Any other comments, Chris, from you before I open it out?
Nothing further from me. Thanks, Marion. I'm happy to take any questions. And again, these are being presented for endorsement to the Audit Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Shall I just check whether there are any questions, or if not, we'll move on to the Audit Wales audit report. And perhaps I can invite our colleagues from Audit Wales to present the financial update audit of the accounts report, which summarises the main findings from our annual report and accounts. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. Really happy to be here today to present what is another really positive audit report. It's always nice to be able to come and present such a report, and I'm really grateful for Sian, because I think she's covered off most of the things I was going to say. So thank you, Sian. Efficient as always, so thank you. I'll keep to the key messages, Chair, as you'd indicated. So on page 5, it's our audit at a glance. That's our exec summary, if you will, which kind of just outlines those key things as members of the committee you need to know before you consider the accounts for approval. So as Sian outlined, I suppose there's a bit of a nuance. We haven't yet issued the opinion. We're intending to issue the opinion. It's a bit kind of clunky that we need your letter of rep before we can do that, and then we can't issue the opinion until the Auditor General signs on Friday. So that's the timeline. So we'll cover that off. So issuing an unqualified opinion, that is the plan. No issues. There are no other significant matters to report, which is a broad statement that's largely based in auditing standards, which says if we've identified any significant weaknesses in internal control, any particular significant frauds or anything of that nature, that we need to bring those to your attention as those charged with governance. So we don't list those areas. It's just to confirm we have not identified anything. So that's a really positive statement. As Sian covered off, there's no uncorrected misstatements we want to bring to your attention. So those are anything below our trivial threshold, and there's nothing approaching the trivial threshold at all that we need to bring to your attention. So it's a really positive outcome as well. We just note there we'll be issuing an accounts addendum. So this is more of a kind of a complete record of everything that we've found. So all of these more minor issues. So if we found something for a couple of £1,000, we just include that on a schedule that we share with Chris, Sian and Mark, just for completeness, so there is a record of that going forward. But to confirm, there's nothing in anything that we communicate internally with the team that should be brought to your attention. And then just summarising that timeline at the end there. So as has already been covered, the accounts will be recommended hopefully today for endorsement by the board tomorrow. We'll then get the signed accounts following board tomorrow with the signed letter of rep. We'll do our check-in, and then we've got a meeting with the Auditor General on Friday to take him through the findings and hopefully for him to certify the accounts, which we can then lay at the Senedd. So that's the broad flow for the end of the week. Just moving on to Appendix 1, the audit risks and outcomes. So this was new last year. Hopefully you remember it well. So this is helpful in terms of just those are the risks we identified when we brought the audit plan and took you through the audit plan. outlines the work that we did and the outcomes. Wasn't proposing to go through any of those really, given there was no issues to report. But just to flag with you this morning, there's 2 risks in there that will also be in our plans and things we have to deal with next year, as you might imagine. So we've got the VAT issue, which is ongoing, I suppose is the best phrase for it. So we'll need to look at that and follow that through to its conclusion next year, whatever that may be. So you'll see it in our plan next year. And likewise, just with the escalation status, that's something that we've got to keep a watching brief on. Not a huge piece of work, but it would be remiss of us not to mention it in our plan and to acknowledge that as a risk for us as well as yourselves. So just to kind of have that marker in the sand to go, when you see us next year, it might feel a bit repetitive, but those issues are still live going into 26, 27. Appendix 2 is really pleasing for me because there's not a lot in there, which is a fantastic outcome. It feels like a lot of work has gone in on both sides. Absolutely echo what Chris said. Really grateful for all the cooperation to come up with a report which doesn't have much in, but that's a fantastic outcome. That's a really positive achievement. No significant adjustments there, as you will see. Happy to take any questions on any of those, but nothing that affects the bottom line other than the 41,000 that Sean mentioned on the capital outturn there, but nothing in the revenue space at all. And again, just to conclude really and really express my thanks for all the cooperation from the wider team as well as Chris, Sean and Mark. We've come to expect that and we don't take it for granted. We're really grateful. People are really responsive in terms of dealing with us, picking up the phone, dealing with our queries that we use on our kind of audit query system. It's a really kind of intense kind of 5 or 6 week period. And I think probably at the end of last week, Sean, we were all done, weren't we? We'd had enough by that point, but really grateful. It can get a bit stressful at times, but really grateful for the cooperation that we've had. Appendix 3 is our proposed audit opinion. That just sets out all of the requirements of the auditing standards there. But again, to confirm, no issues in there to make you aware of. That's a clean audit opinion proposed. And the letter of representation is at the back in Appendix 4 and is elsewhere on the agenda anyway. So I'll stop that there. I can see Alistair's got his hand up, but happy to take Alistair's question and any other questions, Chair.
Thank you, Mike. That's a very positive outcome indeed, and thank you for those comments. Just before I turn to Alistair, building on the positivity of your comments, you mentioned the positive cooperation and the relationships that have been ongoing throughout this process. Has there been any sort of tension, disagreement at all between management and the auditors in terms of accounting principles or, any issue of significance that you could share with us?
I don't think so, Marianne. I think it's really healthy that we do get that challenge back from Mark and Sean on any number of issues throughout the audit, and that's absolutely right. We aren't going to have the correct view 100% of the time on everything, as much as I'd like to think I would. It's not going to happen. And I really welcome that kind of positive, engaged dialogue and challenge. Like I know we talked a lot throughout the year around the VAT and talking through those various other kind of audit findings that we've kind of maybe started off going, well, this appears on the face of it to be wrong, but then having worked through those conversations with officers then to go, right, actually we now understand what's going on, and perhaps that wasn't the right initial conclusion to come to. So it's an iterative process, but there's nothing we've kind of butted heads over in any way. Throughout the audit, there's always a negotiated position to be found, and really grateful for that challenge from Mark and Sean on those findings, because that's how an audit works best.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Mike. Let me turn then to Alistair McNeill with the first question. Alistair.
Thank you, and thanks, Chair. I really actually wanted to make a comment rather than a question, but it's just to say that, in a year of very significant turmoil, the work that you've done as a finance team really speaks for itself. I can hardly recall ever hearing words from Audit Wales that included the word fantastic. but I've just heard it coming from Mike, and I think that's really a good thing to hear. So I really just wanted to say, that unqualified opinion, no other significant matters, no uncorrected misstatements, and in all a report that is extremely positive indeed. Many thanks indeed to all of you, Chris, Shan, Mark, for just fantastic work, and it just demonstrates, I think, the strength and depth of our finance team. But it's very much appreciated. I do understand just how much goes into that. So thank you.
Thank you, and I'll echo those positive observations from Alistair. Thank you all for your contributions to making this audit process such a positive one in what has been a very challenging and difficult year in many respects. So the committee is being asked to endorse to the board the annual accounts for 25-26, and to endorse the letter of representation, which you have in your pack, which will be signed by the Chief Executive and the Chair. So I'm assuming that we are happy to do so. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr. And we are being asked to note the audit of accounts report as introduced by Mike. Diolch yn fawr. So let's move on then to agenda item 2.3 and to the annual report for 25-26. Now, DHCW is required to submit its annual report, including the accountability report, to Welsh Government for the following the start of the new financial year. And as with the annual accounts, the Audit Committee are required to endorse the annual report, which includes the performance report, the accountability report, as well as the financial statements. So I'll now invite our Director of Corporate Affairs and Board Secretary, Chris Starling, to present the annual report for 25-26. Chris, croeso.
Diolch, Marion. Yeah, I'm going to be relatively brief. I'm going to hand to Laura to cover the annual report. I did just want to start with thanking Laura for running the process of the development of the report in the lead up all the way through to its production to what we have now as a final report, and also all the staff involved in the development of the report. It is a real big team effort. Just a reflection, having read through the report, it does make me incredibly proud to work for DHCW. We've done some really good things over the last 12 months, and I think reading through the annual report does put a lot of things into context in terms of what we deliver on a daily basis. I'd like to thank Audit Wales colleagues for the last 12 months and internal audit, in particular Steve. I know he'll go through the head of internal audit opinion, but his advice and challenge over the 12 months is always greatly appreciated. I think the report reflects what Alistair mentioned. It's been a challenging year for DHCW, and I think that's comes through the report. I think that's right. It's fair, I think, balanced and understandable, but I'll hand to Laura to go through a bit of detail on the timetable. Diolch, Marion.
Diolch, Chris. Laura.
Diolch, and diolch, Chris, as well. So, yeah, we're all familiar with the annual report, so I won't go through the detail of it. So it's just to say that it's been a really iterative process. We've had a lot of comments and feedback from Welsh Government, Audit Wales and internal audit throughout the process, and I'm really grateful to everybody for their collaboration and engagement with it. So in terms of the format, you'll see in the papers, as per the Chapter 3 guidance, we have to produce the annual report as a single unified document in a PDF. So that's in the papers at 2.3i. But as per previous years, to allow for that greater accessibility and to represent us more as a digital organisation, we are also producing the annual report in a HTML digital format, which will be what we use to promote and showcase the annual report on our website and at our AGM. As per colleagues have already said, we're hoping to get it laid at the Senedd at the end of this week, but then we're hoping to get the annual general meeting on the 30th of July. and up until the 30th of July, we'll do some promotion of it, invite questions and comments from members of the public in advance. So that's all I wanted to highlight. I would just like to express my thanks to everybody across the HCW, in particular our head of performance, Isis, who isn't here today, but Mark and Sian, as always. It's a real collaborative effort, and it's something I'm incredibly proud to work on. So diolch yn fawr iawn. Happy to take any questions or comments.
Diolch yn fawr, Laura, and can I echo my congratulations as well. It's been a very challenging year, but this report reflects very accurately the impressive achievements of DHCW alongside the challenges. It's a balanced and fair but impressive production, and which I think provides a very good read for the public also. Can I just ask whether there are any observations or questions from colleagues on the annual report? Thank you again, Laura and Chris, for introducing the annual report. So let's turn now then to Stephen Cheney from NHS Wales Shared Services Partnership, who's here to present the Head of Internal Audit Opinion Report for 25-26. Stephen.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'd also like to start off by thanking DHCW and in particular Chris and Laura and their team as well in assisting with the delivery of the audit plan, which leads to this annual opinion. It can be quite challenging at times with the number of audits that we complete and the size of the reviews, but it's very grateful for support in achieving closure of our audits for the year. So thank you very much for that. And I think it's fair to say we receive a healthy amount and degree of challenge on each of the reviews that we complete across the organisation, and it allows for a collaborative but a worthwhile process at the same time as well. And overall, I'm pleased to say that we've concluded our audit work for the year, and we're in a position to provide our final opinion, which, as previously mentioned in the draft opinion, was reasonable assurance, and it remains at reasonable assurance. And one of the reasons why we provide our annual opinion is it's a requirement of the Global Internal Audit Standards, which you may recall were introduced for this year. I'm required to provide an annual opinion. It is based upon the work that we've completed, and it assesses the overall adequacy and effectiveness of the organisation's framework of governance, risk management and control. So it is given with that limitation. We do consider wider information available to us as well, but largely the opinion is based upon the work that we have completed during 25-26. And the reason why we give this opinion overall is because it helps to contribute towards the assurances available to the accountable officer and the board of DHCW, and it should be used to underpin the board's own assessment of the effectiveness of the organisation's system of internal control. So ultimately, it is one element of assurance to provide overall degree of comfort with the management and effectiveness of the arrangements in place. And finally, just to conclude, what reasonable assurance means is that the board can take reasonable assurance that arrangements to secure governance, risk management and internal control within the areas that we examined, they're suitably designed and applied effectively. There are some matters which require management attention, either within high priority recommendations that we've raised, or limited assurance reports or advisory reviews, but there are a number of areas that require management attention, which I know are actively being managed. But overall, the impact on residual risk exposure is low and to moderate. So overall, just provided reasonable assurance for this year, and very grateful for all the help and assistance throughout the year. So very happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and thank you for your work also throughout the last financial year. I can't see any hands up, so I think we're all very familiar also with the work of internal audit and the reasonable assurance which was presented to us earlier this year. So unless there are any further observations, I'd like to propose that the committee endorses the final version of the annual report and to recommend its approval by the board prior to submission to the Welsh Government as part of the annual reporting cycle required for 25-26. We are also being asked to receive the head of internal audit opinion for assurance and noting, which I'm sure we are happy to do so. Diolch yn fawr. So I'm not aware of any other business, so as chair of this committee, it will be my pleasure to feedback on the annual report and accounts to the board tomorrow. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all DHCW colleagues who've been involved in the development of the annual report and the accounts. As we've already heard, this is a significant milestone for the organisation, and one cannot underestimate the considerable work that is undertaken across the organisation to deliver in this regard. In addition, my thanks to our colleagues from Audit Wales and Internal Audit for their collaboration and engagement throughout this process. It is a real tribute to the collaborative approach that we've undertaken at DHCW with our colleagues in both organisations, but it is a real tribute to the wider team here at DHCW. So thank you all. So with that, I will close the meeting. Suffice to say that the next scheduled meeting of this committee is on July the 14th. So can I thank you all for your engagement this morning, and that formally brings our meeting to a close. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi.